we have our paper towel tubes, we have scissors, and we are ready for the first part of our project. Now, if you don't have these now, remember, save some and then you can use them. Maybe you just put them in the recycle bin. That's fine, but again, we eventually will have some. So I just want you to have fun, improvise with the materials you have at home. So we are going to cut some and make them smaller. So mommies and daddies, you are probably gonna have to do this part. We don't want our little friends to get hurt. And we have some smaller ones that are easy for us to hold and use as stencils. Now you are going to either use a marker or any kind of tool, a crayon, a pencil. And the first thing we're going to do on this one is I'm going to make some marks. I know that that's how long I want my petals to be. And you don't want to leave too much space, make the petals too wide, because it'll be hard to fold back. So you can have maybe about 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch. The biggest 1/2 inch is pretty good. You can vary in the length of the petal, making the flower larger and the center smaller. So, and I'm going to show you an example of that in a moment. But once you have the lines, maybe my older pre-K friends can cut and stop when the line stops. Cut and stop, cut and stop, cut and stop. You want it to be even here because you don't want one longer than the others. So you want to stop when the line stops, stop when the line stops. If you do have one that is very, very long, then make the others reach it. Now this part is really good for my little friends because your fingers are awesome and tiny, and I just need you guys to pull them back. So once they're done, we're pulling it back, pulling it back, pulling it back, pinching it back, pulling it back. So we have one of our flowers, one of our stencils is ready and good to go. So once that's there, and put that, like I said before, we might have a flower whose petals are a bit longer, just to create different types of petals, and we can make the line a little bit longer, not too long, just a little bit. And again, they should all reach the same length. Maybe you want some that are super thin, you can make them half as wide as what we're making now, and you also have a different type of flower. So it's kind of like an experiment. So here we go, cutting up to the line and stop, cut up to the line. Some might need a little extra, there we go. Cutting up, cut up, cut up. Yeah. There we go, and my little friends with their little fingers get to pull them back nicely. Remember, you're just folding it, you're not taking it out, just folding it back. Perfect. So see what I said, this one has, even though it's the same paper towel roll, but see, some petals are bigger and some are smaller, and that's fine. We can use other types of lines. Maybe we can use zigzags, kind of like little triangles, zigzag. Again, it also needs to end at the same distance from the edge of the paper towel roll. You don't want one to be too much different. And again, this is to guide you. You're just gonna cut off, plus it's gonna have paint over it. So we're having fun, we're trying our best. So here we're gonna cut it, it's just a guide. Cut the little triangles. It's almost gonna look like a crown. And you can actually make little people and draw faces on these. That's a cool project to make when you have lots of paper towel rolls or toilet paper rolls. And we cut. So see, it looks like a little person with a crown on it. So again, we pull them back. Pull back, pull back, and we have our little crown. Another kind that we can make, I'm going to cut these out again. 1, 2, and I'm going to probably cut this one. It might be too short, so I'm just going to cut a little piece out. Excellent. So you can even create some curved lines. They are a little bit harder to cut, but I think you guys can manage with some upside down U's or arches or curved lines. And we're going around the paper towel tube. I like to guide myself, that way I know kind of where I need to cut. It's not going to be exact, but it helps me. So here we go. I'm going to start cutting slowly in and out. Like I said, the curved lines are a little bit harder, but you can still do it. It takes a little bit of practice. You just need to kind of drive the paper towel or the paper roll with your other hand and try to go gently. Remember, you're gonna have paint on these, so when you squish it, the paint's gonna come around it a little bit. So it might lose the shape a little bit, but it still looks organic enough to, and we recognize the flower in our project. And that. And the last one. Perfect. And we fold them back. It kind of looks like a little daisy almost, see? So we have a few flowers to paint with, and I like to create some inside stencils or stamps. So we can cut one, for instance, and see how it's kind of rolled up because it's been rolled up for a while. We are going to tighten it up, make the inside, one side a little bit smaller, really small, and we're going to create a spiral. A spiral is a line that starts either small and ends up bigger, bigger, bigger. It just grows as it turns. So it's a spiral like a little snail. You see that? So we can have a little snail or a spiral stamp, or we can also have one of my favorites. I pinch one side. Then on the other side, you might need to press it with your nail a little bit to help you bend it in. And we're gonna press it in and fold it on the inside. Use your fingers on the inside. Press it well, and you're going to have a little heart stamp as well. Sometimes you'll have one side that is very low compared to the other. You might want to even it out so that you have a complete heart when you stamp it onto the paper. You are going to have to push it in. So we have a heart, we have a spiral. You can squish one on the edges to make a leaf. See, so we have different things. A little bit more folding. This might take a while. Is folding and making some sort of a star with your paper towel. So we are ready to start painting. We have our paper. Remember, you might want to put something underneath it because sometimes paint gets over on the table itself. You have newspaper, or maybe you have a special tablecloth that's for your arts and crafts. Perfect. So I have my paper here. I like to write my name first. That way if I forget later, it's okay. I write it somewhere on the front because if we are going to use a lot of paint, it might get a bit messy and hard to write our name until it's dry completely. So once that's there, we are going to start. So I have on plates, if you have paper plates or maybe you just have regular paper to put a little bit of paint on it, you can do so. These are regular tempera paints, as it said in the materials. And I have different colors, some yellow, some pink, some orange, some blue, red, and green. Green is going to be for the stems and leaves later. So I like to start with lighter colors first. And we are going to start with the first flower that we made. There's no order. You can choose whichever one you want and whichever color you want. So I'm going to put it in here, kind of squeeze it. You do want to make sure that you see that the petals get paint on all of them. If you need the help of a Q-tip or a paintbrush, please use it. So once it's all there, now carefully you decide where you want your flower to be. I'm going to put it here. I squish it down, but that's not enough. The little legs look like they stand up, so we need to make sure that we press them. You are pressing all the way around without moving the paper towel roll. So once it's all pressed, now I can lift it and I have my first flower. Okay, I have one. I might make another yellow one. I have this here. I'm moving it around, and I'm going to put it maybe here on the other side. It could be a lower yellow flower. I push in all the little legs, make sure that the paint is everywhere. Oops, carefully, since some of them did not get the paint on them, I put it on and carefully squeeze it again. All right, I'm gonna maybe make my triangular stencil flower or stamp flower. So I am going to put, let me see, we're gonna do some orange. We're gonna start with orange. And I'm gonna put that in here, make sure that the paint is on each little triangle. And I'm gonna put maybe one here. Again, don't forget to press down the little triangles on the petals so the paint stays on the paper. So we have one. I'm gonna put another one over here, squeeze them down. Awesome. We lift it. So we have, oops, I'm just gonna press it carefully. Some of them are a little bit tricky. There we go. We have second one. And now I'm going to make, I have my little round petals, and I'm gonna make that one with blue, one of my favorite colors. And I'm gonna put it in there, make sure the paint is all on it. Oh, it's a little bit, there we go. So we have blue pretty much on all of our petals. And I'm going to see where is the space. Use your detective eyes, and I'm pressing it in there, pressing the petals down, making sure that it's leaving its impression. So we have one flower. Now I'm gonna maybe put another flower over here. And I'm pressing down the petals. Perfect. So I have another one. And I am gonna put one of my big ones. I really like it. I'm gonna put it in this nice pink. Just leaving it in there. Make sure that all the petals get paint on them. And remember, I know it gets messy and we get paint on our fingers. It's okay, it is just paint. Nothing's gonna happen. It washes off. Okay, so I have my petal ready. And if it overlaps, which means it goes on top of another flower, it's okay. That happens. Flowers do overlap in nature as well. So we're gonna squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it down, make sure the paint is everywhere. And we lift it up. Beautiful. I love all the colors I have. I'm gonna use my spiral. Remember we talked about that. And I'm gonna make sure that it has enough ink. I can practice on the paper around me. And I'm checking it out. Perfect. I'm gonna put some red in here. Make sure that the whole edges are down. I have one spiral. Excellent. And I'm gonna make another spiral in this one. Excellent. Make another spiral in this one. Press it down. Awesome. I might even use my star that I did, my red star. Put it in the paint. Put it inside the flowers. Put it inside. Put it inside. Awesome. Put it inside. So I have my flowers ready, and I want to put in the stems. The stems, we're going to use a green paintbrush. If you don't have a paintbrush, you can use a Q-tip. You can use your fingers. Again, it will wash off later. So we're going to make our lines, and they don't have to be straight all the time. They can be a bit curvy. Sometimes the flower is heavy, so it curves the stem a little bit. And we have some stems. And remember, we have that stencil that kind of looks like a leaf. We can put it in there and put some leaves on there as well. Put some leaves on our project. So, beautiful colors, beautiful garden, awesome for spring. You made your awesome project. I can't wait to see what you guys made, so don't forget to send them, okay?